Right, hello and welcome back to the channel. Short video today really, just a quick setup video. Dom has sent us a very nice Amstrad 901 to be tuned and set up. I've never seen an Amstrad microphone in that condition before. I mean, you rarely see them anyway, but that's absolutely mint, that is. Although he says it's got no audio output on it, so we'll just check that out first. We're just going to make do his power lead. It had a chocky block in there, so we're going to solder that up and put some sleeving on. And yeah, that's incredible. Wow, that's really good condition. I'll show you the radio in a sec. We'll just do this lead and then we'll bring the radio up and I'll show it you. It's mint. This really is in very nice condition. There's the original paint there, and there's the front of it. Yeah, that's the tidiest one of these that I've seen. From the back it actually almost looks like a brand new radio. I'll be a bit careful with it. I don't want to. I've made sure this mat is nice and clean and free from any solder, so we don't do any damage to it. As you can see there from the back, it looks very tidy with the original QC approved sticker on. Yeah, not seen one this new looking. And you'll notice it is a Hong Kong variant, so it's not the Japanese version, which is a shame, but it'll be interesting nonetheless to see how this performs, and we'll certainly take the before and after measurements on this set. So let's take the lid off and keep them in a safe place, and we'll get some measurements from this radio, and then we'll hook up the original mic and see if we're getting any modulation or not, as according to the owner of the set. He says it's not doing it, and I trust Dom. He sends a lot of stuff to me. One tiny little scratch on there I can see, but other than that it is mint. Gosh, that really does look like new. Amazing. And it's great, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. I know what that new Amstrad 901 feeling must have felt like back in the day. I think you probably would have thought you was getting something pretty special. This was quite a different style for the time, obviously with the digital meter and its general overall styling. So yes, it was quite different. So let's put some power up to it and see if it comes on. I'm sure it will do. And there we go. Let's do Squelch. Squelch is coming in now. We've got RF gain to full. We've got the Roger beep switched on. And just check channel 9 is working. That is working. And we'll check the PA in a minute, but we'll just see what we're doing power wise now. Let's pop it on. Yeah, it's on power. 20 watt scale. Let's just see what this is doing. Yeah, it's doing bang on 4 watts. Let me just show you. There we go, bang on 4 watts, and there's the half a watt. So half a watt I can do with coming down a little bit. There's our low power setting. So absolutely cracking that. We will see what it's like on receive next. I will actually just check what it's doing on, make sure it's on frequency first. Let's just do that with the SDR initially, and we'll wait for the frequency counter to warm up. And there we go, it's on frequency, but you can see there we haven't got any modulated audio. Now Dom has included another mic, a Cybernet mic, with this that he says works, and we get audio with that. So it's probably the coil gone bad in there, so we'll definitely repair that. It could be a wire off, but it's more likely to be the coil, unfortunately, which I do stock some Chinese coils which may fit in there with a bit of an adaptation. So there's receive. It's doing 0.57 of a microvolt for 12 dB cyanide. There's cyanide reading, but it sounds off. It sounds sort of strangled and funny. So I have a feeling that somebody may well have been in there and tuned that and not got it spot on. It certainly doesn't sound great to me. Let's just see what it sounds like when we wind the signal up a little bit. Okay, it's sounding a bit better at 1.5 microvolts, but as we wind it down, we can take it all the way down to 0.25 of a microvolt for a probably 0.2, 0.1. The Squelch just cut in there, but that's a Hong Kong radio. That's doing pretty good at 0.19 of a microvolt. So yeah, that's I'd say that's pretty decent. We'll leave our tone in the middle position there. Leave our tone in the middle position and just switch the radio off there. And we'll take the lids off and see what it's like inside with the lids off. This one screw thread this side by the mic socket doesn't seem to want to unscrew out, so I might have to run a tap through that afterwards. But that's being a pain, so we'll carefully take that out and then we'll pop a tap through it. You can actually see the screw is threaded there, so we'll have to put a new screw in that one there. I'll probably put 4 new screws in anyway. Is there any pennies? Hopefully then the new screw with the new thread on will cut into that fine. We'll find out when we reassemble. I didn't know from original that they had these little foam chunky pieces there. Well, this is a Hong Kong version. They might not have had this on the Japanese version, but that's the first time I've seen those. Look like a big lump of chewing gum or something. Anyway, there is the back of the board. They're never as gleaming and as nice as the Japanese versions. That's just the way it is. There's a tiniest little bit of corrosion on the edge there. I'll do my best to get some of that off. I'm not going to go painting this, it's in too good nick and it doesn't need it. So I'll just gently rub that with a bit of sandpaper and put a tiniest little bit of wax oil on there just to protect it. And we'll put the lid to one side there. So let's get a little bit closer to this circuit board, see if we can see anything, guys. Just whiz you around a little bit. It possibly looks like it may well have. Let's see, the bit of felt has come off there. I'll glue that back onto the case. It may well have had a little bit of work done, maybe. It's super rare. I mean, these radios are 40 years old now, and we'll just tighten these screws down, just make sure they're all tight. I can't see anything obvious at the minute, and of course it's working all fine. There's this little bit of corrosion on the edge of the case there, and just where the case is rubbed, I think. So yeah, we'll just bear that in mind. Again, just a tiny little bit of corrosion there, which I will very carefully just sand down, and then just put a tiniest dab of anti-corrosion paint on there. Speaker looks absolutely brand new, doesn't it? It's not been used. And you can see that the felt strips along the sides there, they all look like new as well, so that's excellent. Right, so we'll look inside. We'll carefully put these case pieces down to one side. We don't want to mark them at all. And this is looking okay. Again, like you can see, these aren't as sparkly inside as the Japanese version. We've got our ballast resistor there. That looks to be fairly substantial, unlike the Japanese ones, of course, which are a little bit underrated. But yeah, the overall problem, it's not a problem, but the overall thing to take away is that the circuit board isn't as good a quality, and the general components aren't as good in the Hong Kong variant. They're not a patch on the Japanese version. However, this one does look and appear to be working okay. Although receive did sound a bit strangled, hopefully we can sort that out. So, I mean, yeah, it's all there. Let's just go through a basic setup. I'll pull the my data sheet for the Amstrad 901 and we'll get going on it. I don't think it's going to need much doing, just a quick tune-up. Alright, I'd like to do the testing with the original microphone, so let's pop the case off the back of this microphone before we start doing the setup on the radio, because this isn't going to take long to set the radio up, and we'll pop the back of this off. Okay, it's absolutely mint in the back of here, as you can expect. This really can't have been used, this microphone. And what we'll do is we'll get our multimeter and just measure across the coil first on here, just to see if we're looking for about 500 ohms in resistance across that coil. And if we're getting it there, we'll trace it back to the switch. But I can't see that there's any wires off on the switch, so my guess would be it's that. and that's what we're getting off the coil resistance of 23.2 mega ohms. So yeah, sadly that's got to come out. So let's get the box of CB parts out and find some of the cheap Chinese microphone inserts that I've got. I think we're going to have to whir the 3D printer into life to get it to go in though, as that looks to be a slightly different diameter. And here is the replacement coils. I think I picked these up about 2 years ago on AliExpress. Haven't used many of them because they don't often go, and I often just replace the microphone, but in this instance we could definitely do with keeping this microphone in the frame, because it's such a lovely condition original mic. So let's pry this bad boy out of here and see what we need to do to encompass this one into the picture. As you can see, they're very similar in terms of size. This is the Amstrad one, this is the Chinese one, although of course they're both technically Chinese. There we go, you can see the magnetism there at play. So what we'll do is we'll check first off, before we do anything, we'll check this one is working and then I think we're going to have to manufacture, just spin up a little ring. Of course, if you haven't got a 3D printer, you'd just be able to use some hot glue or something in there, but we'll probably just put a little ring in there, just something, or we might be able to use an O-ring possibly, we'll see. And that's more like the resistance that you want to be reading, 572 ohms. So you can see this top piece of the microphone here stands a little bit proud, and we have a cushioning element of foam in the back there, and it's just sitting a little bit too high. I mean, you could possibly squeeze that together, but that would put excessive stress on the screws and on the moulding. So there's a few things that we could do. We could either remove this foam piece here and put a thinner piece of foam in, or we could cut down this little protruding lip some here so it fits in. I mean, the actual element, I think there's a tiny bit of wiggle in there, but once it's been held captive by the foam, it's not going to go anywhere, so I'm not too worried about fitting anything in there to stop that little bit of play. That's not going to matter, because once the foam presses down on that, it's not going to move. So all we've got to do is really just address that. You can see even with the foam removed, we've still got a 3mm gap to the hard plastic edge of that mic capsule, so we're going to have to remove 3mm of material from the top of this microphone capsule. Probably easiest way to do that would just be pop it in the vise and cut it down with a little junior hacksaw as neatly as we can. Right, we've cut that down some now, and that's now the right fit. That doesn't move or rattle about once we compress the mic together. So let's get this reconnected and try it out. Just while I got this off, I thought I'd show you the mechanical noise suppression system here. You can see how the microphone is centered off center from the mic input there, and there's this little chamber up here, and this was apparently done to try and reduce noise. It was a mechanical noise suppression thing, and you'll see this on these microphones were made for other, I think the LCLs had them and a few other radios had them, and they weren't known for their quality, and certainly that's probably why there's not that many of them around, because they were a bit fragile, and the coils obviously were as well. So I just thought I'd show you that, because that's quite an interesting feature. You can clearly see how offset it is from the mouth, from the grill of the microphone there. It's almost a half moon shape, and I can see those contacts are absolutely clean. No need to pop switch cleaner in there. All that we would be doing would be driving the grease out of that switch. So always worth checking. They're absolutely clean because it's not been used, so there's no need for any switch cleaner. Let's just reassemble. And there we go, she's back together. We'll just get the Randy on the case. 1 2 1 2 1 2. So we got our modulation back. That's good. So that saved that microphone. And yeah, I've not seen one in quite that shape before. It's an absolute minter, that is. So yeah, we can now carry on with the tune-up. So for the VCO, you're looking at, you see this little test point here on C9, you're looking for anywhere on that. Now you can pick it up off the links there, or off of the resistor, or off of that leg of C9, but that's where you need to get your probe, your positive probe of your multimeter, negative to ground, and follow these instructions. So you can actually get your probe on any of these two resistors here. It's the same pad, you can see there, and we've got 2.13 volts. It should be 2 volts. Now there's probably no need to adjust that. So we're on channel 1 on receive, and if you do need to adjust that, you have to adjust it with T1, okay, which is, I think it's that one. Let me just check. Yeah, it is that one there. So probe on there, adjust that one for 2 volts. I will actually do it just for the hell of it. There we go, 2 volts. Okay, so that's with T1. And then now it says on channel 1, set it into transmit and adjust CT1 for 2 volts. So now we'll make sure we're on the dummy load, and we'll pop it into transmit by a little tip with this. If you need 6 pairs of hands, is simply pop the microphone between your knees and give it a squeeze, as I've just done. Okay, and you could also do that on low power as well if you don't want to give the stress out the power transistor too much. There we go, 1.95, so I'll just bring that up to 2 with CT1, which is that little red trimmer just there. There we go, 2 volts. And testing off the same point, you pop it on channel 40, and you're looking for about 3.7 volts roughly on channel 40 on transmit. Right, we are actually doing the full 4 watts. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, hiding in there, 5. There are adjustments for power. We're doing 4, but we'll peak it and just wind it back if need be, but we'll peak it anyway. Okay, so we're doing full 4 watts, and we've checked it on the Tiny SA on the spectrum analyzer, and the 54 meg harmonic is fine. That's well below where it should be, so that's good. Yeah, for a Hong Kong set, this is doing alright. Because this is the TX power meter. So what we do is we set it to low power by depressing the switch. So we're on low power, and when we transmit, you want to adjust that so number 5 light comes on TX. I know a lot of people find it weird that red light is receive there and that green light is TX, but there you go. That's, some people actually swap those round because they don't like it, but yeah, so that's adjusted okay anyway. And then if we pop the radio into full power mode, let's push that back in the back there. There we've got all our lights lighting according to the manual. That's right, all LEDs should now be lit. Okay, so that's the TX done, that's all fine. Okay, so I think the deviation's a bit low, well, quite ridiculously low. We're not even getting it on the meter hardly at all. So we've got a problem there. I think I shall have a little dig around. I'll check this microphone socket. It looks clean. So yes, we do have a problem. It's low modulation there. One, two, 1, 2. Yep, we're okay. All it needed was a clean, so we're all good. We've got our proper deviation now, so we can definitely now move on to receive. Okay, so we've got 100 microvolt signal going in on channel 20, and we're going to adjust T11 and for peak. There we go. Oh, we've got quite a bit more back there, look. There we go. That should hopefully sound a little bit less strangled once we've gone through the tune-up. So let's go back and see what we're doing for our 12 dB synad. Okay, so now we're doing 0.46 for 12 dB synad. But it still sounds a little bit off, so I'll go through the receive front end starting with this can here, this one, this one, this one, that one, they're the IFs, that one there, no sorry that's frequency, not that one, and that one down the bottom. I have to say that's quite a big change. We're now doing 0.32 microvolts with 12 dB synad, and that sounds a lot better now as well, so really pleased with that. That made a huge difference. Didn't get much of a gain off that top can, but off of these two it came up massively, and the IFs as well, so yeah, that's made a real big difference. Let's just see if we can hear it all the way down to 0.1. Yeah, we're still hearing it. That's at 0.1 of a microvolt, so that's one of these these Hong Kong 901s. That's the best one I've ever seen. That is easily on a par with the Japanese one. No questions at all about that. That really is. Maybe it was a board, no, a Japanese board that was smuggled over. No, that's excellent. That really is. Dom should be very pleased with that, because performance-wise, it surpasses really a Japanese one. That's interesting, isn't it? Right. What now? What do we do now? We've got the squelch to adjust, and we'll just adjust the signal meter. So we'll slap our 100 microvolts on there and turn the signal on, and then we'll just adjust the signal meter. To adjust the signal meter, you're looking for RV2, which is that one in that corner there, and you're looking to adjust it so that the green light just comes on with 100 microvolt signal present at the antenna socket. So we've just adjusted it as such. Then as we reduce the signal down from 100 microvolts, we should start to lose our plus 30 and down and down and down as we go. Okay. Right, so it's just squelch. Right, so we've hit upon the first snag really, apart from the microphone, the squelch. You can see there we've got a level of just 2 microvolts set, and the squelch is its maximum adjustment on both the board and the set on the front knob, and the squelch is opening at 2.6 microvolts. So that's absolutely no good whatsoever, is it? So I think we might have a problem with the squelch circuit here on this Hong Kong radio. So this is where I earns me money. I'll have to crack the circuit diagram and see if we can establish what it is that's causing that. Could just be something as similar as something as simple as a bad capacitor, but we shall have a little look and find out. Right, so there's our squelch section. So the first things I'm going to change is C99 and C100. We've got a 33 microfarad and a 1 microfarad capacitor there, and I'll probably rework some of those joints as well. It's also worth obviously checking that transistor there, the 2SC536, and the other 2SC536 there. So we shall check those over, and maybe that will improve the situation somewhat. There's also another capacitor there, C103, which I will change as well. It's a 3.3, so we'll do all 3 of those. So that's capacitor 103. It should be 3.3 microfarad. It's 5.6, so it's gone quite high, so we'll swap that over. It really does pay to read the notes on the diagram, which I always do, and it says there on early chassis 47K is in series with RV5, so the squelch preset. This should be shorted out to get better squelch action. It does indeed. I've actually removed that resistor. It was a 37K resistor, which is in the tester. With the link in, actually the squelch is now too strong, so I need to find a compromise between the two. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put a preset on the back side of the board, and I'll adjust the squelch with the preset, and then we'll put a resistor in there that's a bit nearer the value. It's probably going to be something about half the value of the 37K resistor, I would think. But that will then at least give us the proper squelch range, because it was, well, frankly unusable with it as it was. So we've got a 50K preset in there, and I haven't even adjusted it, and that's actually okay. these presets out of the box normally come at about half value set there. So all we do is unsolder this preset, find out what that resistance is, and then put an equivalent fixed resistor in there, and we're good to go. There you go, got it hooked up to the tester. Let's see what it is. As I thought, so 23k, so anywhere around 23k, 25k will probably be okay, I think. We'll pop the resistor in there. I could have probably guessed at that with it being 37k, but we'll go with I reckon a 20k. There we go, it's adjustable now. We've got 100 microvolt signal coming in, and the squelch is on maximum. We've just adjusted that back. We'll roll the squelch off. See when it's coming in. Coming in at 93. Rolling off at about 87, something like that. So that's fine. We'll check it at the low end and just see what it's like there. And at the low end it's coming in at about 0.2, going off at 0.13. There you go. 0.13 and it's going off. Sometimes with the squelch circuits you have to switch the signal on and off. It's just how these squelch circuits work. Well, that is so much better than it was, isn't it? So that's one to remember, guys. If you've got really poor squelch, play around with that resistor. It may not be fitted on the later chassis, and they may have sorted that out, but there we go. That is it. That's everything done. I don't think we've got any crackly controls. I wouldn't have thought so. Let's just no. Again, as I say, don't go bothering those controls if they don't need it. PA speaker, that's the next test. 1 2 1 2. Not very loud, but who uses the PA function anyway? So that's good. Last but not least, I haven't forgotten, is the frequency. It was on frequency, but that is done with this trimmer here. Now, my experience with these is, as they age, these crystals definitely go out, and so it can sometimes be hard to get these spot on frequency, but we shall try. So let's plug in the frequency counter and give that a go. Only ever so slightly low. It should be 27.79125, so we'll just bring it up a little bit. There we go, 27.79125, toggling 126, perfect. Okie dokie. Right, well, we're here again. It's Friday night, and it's 9:20, and that's me done. I'll do an on the air test with Mick. Maybe not tomorrow, because I think it's somebody's birthday tomorrow, but we shall see. But yeah, it's all done, and we'll check out the Cybernet mic that Dom provided as well. I'll give that just a little switch clean and a check over, and just make sure that's all fine too. Right, hi there Mick. Today we've got an Amstrad 901. This came in absolutely in amazing condition. It's the tidiest one I've ever seen.
But it had a lovely original microphone which wasn't working, and in that microphone there was a blown element, so we've put a new element in the microphone. This is the microphone that I'm using for Street Q1 now, and then it generally just needed a general tune-up and alignment and the usual TLC sort of thing. There was a problem with the squelch, which you'd have seen on the video by now, which we sorted out, but other than that I was just wondering how it sounds to you though, Rod.
Yeah, it sounds brilliant to me. It's coming through very well. Nice crisp audio.
Nice crisp audio, just how you like to hear it. A very little bit of white noise in the background, but that's normal with us, isn't it? Because it's conditions. And yes, it's all very good. So sounding very well indeed. Back to you, Paul.
Yeah, Roger D, that's really nice to know. I say this is definitely better than any Japanese version I've tried in terms of it would do a full 5 watts and receive is superb as well. So I'm really pleased.
Yeah, okay, received, Paul. That's good. You're giving
me about 2 on the S meter, 2 green lights, which
which is normal between me and you, and it's not very often it goes above that with any of the radios, so I would say that's because of my position at the moment, so that you know where I am. And right, yeah, lovely. I've seen the photo of it as well, and it does look in good condition, I must admit.
Yeah, it's in really, really good condition. It's great to see both the microphone and the radio in such great condition, and amazing really that the Hong Kong radios, which have always been much maligned, we've actually found one that's absolutely a real gem here. Okay, mate, I won't hold it with you. We'll finish.
Okay, mate, I won't hold it with you. We'll finish the video there. My battery light is flashing on the camera here, so I'll just thank everyone for watching, and thank you for your help again, Mick, and we can put this one to bed. Thanks ever so much, and thanks everybody for watching. What do you say, Mick? One final word from you, sir.
Yeah, okay, Paul, all copied. I apologise if VA come over a little bit on the last over, but I'd forgotten I'd got that radio on, but yeah, I don't think it did actually. I think it was very faint, so yeah, but no, good job done. With the tune up, etc, and I might be looking out for one of them.
Yep, generally never thought I would see a Hong Kong Amstrad 901 outperform a Japanese one, but yeah, this one definitely does. So if you see this one coming up on eBay, I don't know if Dom is going to sell it, but if you do see it coming up on eBay, snap it up. I bet he won't be selling it though. Anyway, yeah, if you have been, thank you ever so much for watching. As I said, we've got some walkie-talkie videos coming up soon, and I've got a couple of special Christmas special type videos with something on there I think you're definitely going to want to see. I've dropped a few hints on the other videos. I'm going to try and get that video out fairly soon before Christmas anyway, and you might want to keep an eye on the channel for that, because it might be something you might want to contact me about if you like. I can't really say much more than that at the minute. So anyway, there we go. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care. 10-10 till we do it again.